Today we're going to do a really fun one and a fast one. We're going to make some popovers. If you're not familiar with the term popovers, what you're seeing me make here is a classic Yorkshire pudding recipe. So let's get on with the ingredients. 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 4 eggs. I am using 4 large eggs in this recipe. And our last ingredient, 1.5 cups of milk. So those are the ingredients, so let's get started. For today's recipe, I am going to be using a blender, but you can also use a bowl with an electric hand mixer. It works equally as well. I'm going to grab my eggs, so that's 4 eggs, right into the blender. To that, all of our milk. And then all of our flour. And I'm just going to spoon that in because my bowl is slightly larger than my blender here. And I don't want any of it going over. So just nice and slowly, let's get all of that in. Perfect. At this point, you can also add a little bit of salt and pepper to the blender if you wish. Then I'll grab my mixer. We'll get it onto our base. And then I'm going to put the lid on so we don't have any splashes. And then I'm just going to start pulsing it using the red buttons here. Okay, so that's about a minute. And just look at it. And it looks good, so I'll just remove it from the base. At this point, we have 2 options. We can bake our popovers right away, or we can place our batter in the fridge for about an hour just for it to rest. And that's what I usually do. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my lid back on, pop this in the fridge for about an hour, and then I'll come back. At this point, my batter has been in the fridge for about 45 minutes, and it's at this point where I want to start oiling my pan. I'm going to be using vegetable oil to do this. I have it in a little squeeze bottle. It makes it very, very easy. And I'm just going to add a little bit of oil just to the bottom. I don't want to overdo the oil. I just spray it in, and when I see it fully coating the bottom, I stop. So there's probably about a teaspoon of oil, not too much in each one. And I'll just tilt that up a little bit, where am I here? I'll just show you. I get it in there, just so that it covers the bottom. And that's all you need. The magic to making these is making sure that this is very, very hot before you pour your batter in. If you pour your batter into a cold tin like this, like it is right now, it will not puff up properly. My oven right now is going at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. So now I have added all of the oil, and I'm going to pop this now into my oven, and I want to let this really, really get hot. I'm going to leave it in there for a good 10 minutes. So at this point, I've just brought my batter out of the fridge, and I just want to get it onto my stand, and I just want to give it a fast zip. Okay, that's good enough. I just wanted to mix all the ingredients once again. And now my pan is extremely hot. I'm going to grab it out of the oven, and I'm going to come back in 1 second. So this is extremely hot right now. I'm going to grab my batter. You can hear it sizzling as I pour it in. I'm going to go up about 3/4 of the way. And you don't want to take too much time doing this. Get it done as quickly as you can, and then right back into the oven. And I'm going to bake these for 20 minutes. I just want to use up all of my batter. And that's good. Make sure to put your oven mitt back on. This is extremely hot. And now right back into your oven. 20 minutes. I'm setting my timer for 20 minutes, and I'll be back, and I'm going to bring them right out. And one thing I wanted to mention is that during that 20 minutes of bake time, do not open the oven because they could deflate. So at this point, there's about a minute left on my kitchen timer, and I just want to open up the door and I want to show you what's inside here. Where are we? Look at this. amazing. So I'm gonna close the door, let it finish off, and I'll be back. All right, here we go. Look at that. Wow, that's what I call magic. I always get excited when I make Yorkshire pudding, or poppers as I'm calling them today in today's recipe, because we are using that special baking pan to make these. This pan, by the way, is made by a company called Chicago Metallic. They make really good quality baking ware. You can see the steam still coming off of them. Whoa, I can't wait to dig into one of these. So these were in my oven exactly 20 minutes. If you find in your oven that they haven't browned over enough or they don't look right, just leave them in for another 5 minutes. You'll be totally fine. And what I'm gonna do now, just turn this. I want to get these out. I want to show you what they look like. Ooh, that's hot. Super light. Look at the nice holes. And these here are great, you know, with your dinner. You're going to want to pour some kind of gravy over these. I love these. I don't need any kind of meal with meat. I will just eat them like that. I love them. You can use these as dinner rolls. Oh, so nice. Look at that. Wow. So let me just turn these around. That looks good. You'll notice in today's recipe, we did not use any type of leavening agent. We did not use baking powder or baking soda. The real magic lies in the eggs. When you pour the batter into that extremely hot pan, it hits the oil and the sides of the pan, and that gives an explosion of heat to the eggs and the whole mixture, and it pushes it upward. As long as these stay in the oven long enough, they will actually build a structure and they'll hold their shape just like you see them here. You can kind of think of a hot air balloon. The hot air balloon gets filled with hot air, it rises, it blows up, it expands, and then as soon as that heat source is taken away, the balloon deflates. But we're talking about eggs here, and given enough heat and time, the eggs build a structure, and that's what holds the whole assembly together like you see. So the way the eggs work in this recipe is the same type of way that you'll see in a souffle or a sponge cake. So I'll just grab one. I'll show you how nice these are inside. Look at this. You got that nice little crunch on the outside. Look at this. Amazing. Of course I'm going to have to try a little piece. That is really good. One of my favorite foods. So you're probably wondering, do I have to have this with a dinner meal? No, you can make these. A lot of people will put butter and jam on them, and they're good that way as well. And yes, in case you're wondering, you can use this exact recipe in your cupcake tins as well. If I see a lot of interest in me making this exact recipe using cupcake tins, you may see that on my channel one of these days soon. So that's it for today's really fast video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you wish. If you wish to see written ingredients, you can check out my Facebook page at facebook.com/BakeLikeAPro. That's it for today, and I'll see you next time. Amazing.